Hi everybody, this video is about what is Joe Biden's chance of winning in 2020 based on Vedic Astrology. Many Vedic astrologers have already discussed about this and make their predictions. Quite a number of astrologers have already predicted that Donald Trump will win the election on the 3rd of November. And likewise, about half of them also predicted that Joe Biden will win the election. So it's rather quite divided. So over here I have listed down some of the well-known astrologers and their predictions. Actually, it's a zero-sum game to me because there's only two candidates. And whoever made the prediction will have a 50 chance of being correct. But I'm sharing this strictly based on basis of Vedic astrology because it's a good case study of chart analysis. So over here, I'm going to share the analysis of Joe Biden's chart. Okay, according to AstroBank database, Joe Biden's birth time is given as 8:30 in the morning. And it has a rating of A for rodent rating for accuracy. But from what I see, definitely 8:30 is a timing that has been rounded off. So we're just going to focus on the D1 and the D9 chart. Because D10, I believe there is no reason for us to do that since the timing has been rounded off. By how much we do not know. Okay, Joe Biden currently is in his Jupiter Rahu period. So from chart we can see that the natal Rahu and Ketu is actually afflicting the sensitive point of his 2nd house, 4th house, 6th house, 8th house, 10th house, and the 12th house as well. So there's a lot of affliction to his chart, the sensitive points of his chart. So when this happens, there is a lot of up and downs in a person's life when it's during that sub-period. So in this case, it's a Rahu sub-period. So naturally, all these afflictions will come into play. Then also, we can see that Leo gets afflicted. Leo is his 10th house. It's actually a motriconal sign of the sun. And Rahu is sitting there. So when Rahu afflicts the motriconal sign, the ruler of that sign, Sun, becomes weakened. And Sun signifies the government and power. So it's not a good thing for him. Then furthermore, Rahu will give the effects of a planet associated with it. So in this case, it's sitting in Leo. So naturally, it will give the effects of a Sun. Because there's no planet expecting it. So it will give the effects of the planets which the sign is sitting in. Sun actually receives benefit aspect from Jupiter. However, it's conjuncting very closely with the 12th Lord, which is Venus over here. So the effect of Sun has been reduced as well from this aspect. Okay. Then we also note that the 4th house is also afflicted. 4th house is known as the throne or seat of power in politics. This is according to K.N. Rao. And Ketu is sitting there, afflicting the sensitive point, or what we call the cusp. Then we also have a look at the moon. Moon is the 9th lord. The 9th house is Bhagya, the house of Bhagya, or good fortune. So the lord itself, moon, is badly placed in the 6th house, and it gets an exact affliction from Rahu, barely a degree. So since now it's the bhukti of Rahu, this affliction will come into play as well. In fact, if compare the Trump's and Biden's chart, both of their Rahu and Ketu plays a very important pivotal role on the whole. But because of the nature of Rahu and Ketu in both their charts, the effect is totally different. Biden is still able to hold a position, high position in the political area simply because of his Mahadasha Lord, which is Jupiter. Jupiter, as we can see, is exalted in both the natal and D9 chart. It is also Vakotama. That means it's sitting in Cancer in both charts. So it's unusually powerful. Since we see from Dasha period, it's not really a good thing for him. Now we look at the transit period. Transit Mars, which is actually his natal 6th lord, is in Pisces and is afflicting transit Sun. Sun is his natal 10th lord, ruler of career. So Sun is badly placed in the 12th house and is debilitated there. At the same time, natal Mars also is sitting there and is very close to the transit sun. So it's also casting its negative influence on the sun, transit sun. Next, we look at transit Rahu. Transit Rahu conjuncts with the transit moon on the 3rd of November. So moon, as we mentioned before, is actually the 9th lord house of the Bhagya. So it's badly afflicted because of this close conjunction. So the moon, being a significator of mind and emotions, is happy being exalted in Taurus. But because it's so close to Rahu will actually throw its effect topsy-turvy, potentially bringing emotional upset to the masses on that day. For Joe Biden, the only planet that can give him a chance of winning is Saturn, his natal 4th lord. So during his transit, it's actually in its own sign Capricorn, and it's opposing natal Jupiter. So it's getting a blessing from natal Jupiter. This kind of contradicts with the negative analysis earlier mentioned. So it makes the prediction kind of complicated. However, I do note that transiting Saturn actually has a very low Ashtavaga point in his Capricorn. It has only 1 point. So the effect of Saturn is not very effective here. Or rather, the effect of Saturn is not going to be huge. I'm compelled to say that it has a limited power to change the course. So in short, from analysis of the Mahadasha Lord, the Bhukti Lord, as well as the transit planets on the 3rd of November, from what I see, Joe Biden is not in the best of time. The likelihood that he'll win the presidential election is not very high. Yeah, that's all for me. I hope you find this analysis useful. Thank you.